Ethics and professional boundaries. Supportive family services. Ethics and professional boundaries. Supportive family services. Introduction. Overview of ethical standards and professional boundaries in human services. Why ethics matter. Ethics guide our behavior and ensure we act in the best interests of those we serve. Core ethical principles: integrity, respect, accountability, confidentiality, non-maleficence. What are ethics? Law versus ethics. Law, legal justice, following the norms established by society through the political process. Ethics focuses on social justice, doing what is right. Ethics may be in conflict with unjust laws. Understanding boundaries. Boundaries help define acceptable professional behavior and protect both provider and client. Real-life example. Scenario: a staff member is offered a gift from a client's family. Discussion: what should they do? Types of boundaries: physical, emotional, digital, social, media, time, financial. Red flags. Watch for: dual relationships, oversharing personal information, favoritism, secrets. Interactive prompt: what would you do if a client asks to add you on social media? Discuss with a partner. Case study 1. Case: a provider frequently gives rides to one specific client after hours. Discussion: boundary issues. Quiz time. Question 1. Is it ever appropriate to accept a personal gift from a client? A. Yes. B. No. C. Sometimes. Quiz answer. Correct answer: B. No. Gifts may create conflicts of interest and should be politely declined. Maintaining boundaries. Know your agency's policy. Set limits early. Reflect regularly on your practices. What are professional SFS boundaries? Clearly established limits that allow for safe connections between service providers and their clients. Being with the client, not becoming the client. Being friendly but not friends. The ability to know where the DCW and the client working relationship begins and ends. A clear understanding of the limits and responsibilities of your role as a service provider for supportive family services, and a worker for the hiring organization. Why is it difficult to establish and maintain boundaries? Dual relationships, values conflicts, vicarious trauma, role-playing the hero, poor teamwork. Crossing the boundary vs. boundary violation. A boundary crossing is a deviation from classical direct care worker activity that is harmless, non-exploitative, and possibly supportive of the client's plan of service. There is no possibility of loss of client rights. A boundary violation is harmful, or potentially harmful, to the patient and possibly also the service provider. It constitutes exploitation of the patient, and/or loss of client rights. It customarily clearly demonstrates lack of ethical behavior and compliance with risk-prohibiting provider policy and procedure. There is no relationship between this action and meeting the needs of the client. The client does not come first in this interaction. Actions are warning signs of potential boundary crossings. Client and worker begin referring to each other all the time as friends. Service providers receive gifts from, or give gifts to, clients, including financial gifts, clothing, household items, special foods, etc. Client has or is asking for service providers' home phone numbers, address or other personal information. Client has or expects service provider to socialize with him/her outside of the professional setting. Service provider reveals too much personal information about themselves to the client. Personal finances, relationship issues, family issues, religious values, etc. Service provider is unable to sleep due to anxiety relating to a client's situation. Discussion regarding work or clients dominates a service provider's conversations and social interactions with their own friends and family. Service provider offers to provide assistance to client outside. Disclosure sharing of workers' personal contact information. Disclosure sharing of workers' social media accounts. Workers' warm nature leads to physical connection such as hugging, embracing upon greeting, kissing, rubbing shoulders, hands or face to comfort and support client. Lengthy personal phone calls between service provider and client during off-shift hours. Worker spends inordinate amount of time with client during shift and off-shift in community settings, especially those not related to client IPS goals. Worker dresses provocatively on days scheduled to work with client. Worker freely shares personal experiences with client related to client's diagnosis, challenges, and needs. Worker becomes financially involved in supporting client. Worker freely shares personal life and relationship experiences with client. Guardian worker engages in use of tobacco, drugs and/or alcohol with client. Workers talk about the worker and his/her relationship with specific clients. Client's own family friends begin to talk about amount of time worker spends with client, or information about client. That legal considerations. Violating professional boundaries can result in medium black circle, job loss, legal action, harm to client trust. Reporting ethical concerns. Report to your supervisor, HR department, regulatory board, if applicable. Case Study 2. Discussion. What are your obligations? Final thoughts. Ethics and boundaries protect clients, staff, and the integrity of our services. Quiz wrap up. Final question. Why is maintaining boundaries a form of client respect? A. It's policy. B. It reduces liability. C. It honors their dignity. Correct answer. C. It honors their dignity. Boundaries support client empowerment and trust.